I don't even know how we want to start this one.
Welcome to episode 3. For all those that said we weren't going to do it, screw you guys. We did do it. And today is mostly because of John. We switched roles. I did not want to do it. And he's like, come on, do it. And I said, I don't have anything to talk about. And he said, I'm going to write down some topics and I'm going to be in charge.
Exactly, if you can see that.
And then
the
wife got home from work. And she said, are you guys going to do your podcast today? And I was like, I really don't want to, but John's making me. And she gave me some additional topics.
Oh, yeah?
And at the time, I was grumpy, and I said, those topics suck. But you know what? I wrote them down anyway.
You think everything sucks when it's first given to you.
That's true. I'm a pessimist. No, you have to wait.
You got to read mine.
But you won't know what they mean. It's code. You go first. You're interviewing.
Well, your scribbles, I mean.
I know. I have really bad handwriting. I should have been a doctor, I always said.
Yeah. You got the handwriting to be a doctor, just not the intelligence.
That's right. I got half.
I felt the same way in second grade before I learned how to write for real.
You know, they don't even teach cursive now. Fun fact. They used to be like solely cursive when I was in elementary school.
I only heard that as a rumor, but I didn't.
Yeah, they don't even do cursive now. They used to like yell at us and beat it into us.
There was a girl. Shout out to Katie Utter.
Dang, first and last name.
Like, shout out to her. Well, she's married now.
Oh, okay.
But, good luck finding. But, anywho, I still remember she talked about it once we met in high school. I think she switched districts. At one district, they didn't teach cursive until 5th grade. Well, here in Gibson County, they taught at 3rd grade. So, she switched like 2nd grade-ish. 2nd or 3rd, no. She switched in between the two. 4th grade, that's what it was. She switched at 4th grade, and everybody, like her teachers at the other school in this district, got on to her so many times, had to send letters home, detentions, all that jazz. Because she wasn't writing in cursive like she was supposed to. And she's like, they wouldn't believe her when she's like, I was never taught this.
I got you.
Because they were 2 grades. They taught it 2 grades after when we did. Like, I mean, so I know sometimes I've heard of that, but I didn't know they just fully did away with it. I do remember when we learned it in 2nd grade, it was only that they didn't accept print all the way through 8th. Gibson County High School, though, it was like, as long as I can read it, I don't care if it's print or cursive.
Yeah, I don't think they do it anymore. Maybe. I don't know. Let us know if you're in elementary school if you're learning cursive or not.
I'll have to ask my nieces. They're old enough. They ought to know.
I guess anybody that's watching that has kids, maybe you tell us.
Comment below. But the first topic, I actually wrote some notes this time. So, like I said, a lot of new things this time. The running time. We've added an hour with each episode so far. But we were having that.
All 2 of them.
All 2 of them. Hour the first one and 2 hours the second one. Which I can tell you, my phone recording, I did not want 3 hours.
No, it's
on that.
And editing is a nightmare too, and the file size and uploading it, and just I don't know. I thought I would try to stick it to an hour, but we'll see. An hour-ish to make it editable.
I like 30 minutes. Is like
it's a sweet spot.
Well, I know when Derek was doing his, every single one of them when they were 30 minutes, I watched every one of them.
That's just enough for your attention span.
Yeah. It's like, you got enough time to sit down in between hobbies or...
They'll fit your seasons and your episode format.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about that too. Like, we probably could aim for 45 minutes. If we're too quick with it, it's a 30-minute episode. If we're too slow, it's an hour episode.
Gotcha.
And so that probably will be what we'll go with until we feel like changing it up. I mean, we didn't think we'd be here every episode with the cow, but hey, you've conquered your fear. I'm glad you're
just
over
ignore
that
dang cow. I wanted to ask you about how the watch party went. Was that the first one? It's the first one I know about.
No, it was like the 2nd or 3rd one.
I don't even know about the others.
Well,
I know they were doing the black cat cage fight again.
Callie really enjoyed it.
The commentary side of it?
Well, the watch party.
Oh, really?
Itself. It was fun hanging out with everybody. You know what she called it?
What?
It felt like a sleepover. With all you
got
all your friends over. Everybody just laying on the ground. I didn't get it on film, but there was like a whole row of the guys in the back. They were just laying belly down, and then Caleb elbow. He's like, "Hey, look over there." looking, they're all just kicking their feet, just having the grandest time, just chit chatting, like showing each other their phones, like a bunch of us were. And honestly, it did feel like that. Probably like a church lock-in.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I left church. We did 5 o'clock mass or whatever, and so we got out after 6, and we were driving by, and everybody was issuing in, and then everyone came over to our house, and then when they were leaving the next day, they're like, "Oh man, a lot of people at the gym," and I was like, "Yeah, they're having a watch party," and I think it was like 10:30 or 11. They're like, "Man, it was pretty late," and I was trying to explain to them that it was an adult watch party, and so they're watching the UFC fights and everything together and drinking, and there was coolers and stuff, and they're like, "Oh. Okay, my in-laws were trying to understand it all.
Adults getting together.
Yeah, I was
like a sleepover style thing.
Yeah, but I was curious how it went. I know they were talking about having 2 TVs playing and the UFC card, which I forgot the UFC fights were even on.
We did. Well, the plan was just watching the Black Cat fight.
Yeah,
but John was running a little behind, and they had the TV up, so they just turned on the prelims because they were on. We forgot about the UFC fights too.
I hate the UFC format.
Which we watched the first 2 fights. I think there was one person that Riss actually worked with back in Colorado that was fighting. So we watched that fight. And then
that's pretty sick.
What were you saying?
I just said
I don't like their format.
No, because sometimes it's numbered, and then sometimes it's live on ESPN, and then sometimes it's like Friday Fight Night. They have like these different names.
So you want to know why?
And I know why, but it just drives me crazy tracking it as a fan.
Yeah, kind of.
You just have to assume that there's pretty much one every Friday, but I never know which one is on what.
Well, I thought it was only 2 different ones: the fight nights and then the actual ones.
But this one was live on ESPN, and then there's a live on Fox, and there's another live one too.
You think that's the Contender Series? I know
they have the Contender Series too.
Which that's for up and comers, so that's I think that's still at the Apex Center. I'm not sure.
When their contract gets up, they're supposed to be going all to Netflix, just how they did the Tyson and fight. And I was like, that's awesome because everyone has Netflix.
I'm kind of excited.
I was like, I wish, as long as it's not pay-per-view and it's just you just have to be a streamer of that. That's great to me. That's super accessible.
I'm super excited.
I got the app. I got it on my TV. Everything's set up. I don't have to worry about where it's at.
You got the app on your phone?
The Netflix app? Oh, yeah.
You watch Netflix on your phone?
Hey, listen, brother. When you have kids, you guys are fixing to learn this. Sometimes you're hiding under the covers trying to watch a little something of yourself. They finally fall asleep. It's like you don't get to turn the TV on or any lights. You just stay in the pitch black and be quiet.
So you don't use YouTube Kids?
No, not when they're sleeping.
Well, you said you had Netflix for them.
No, I have Netflix for me. I'm watching Netflix.
When
they're like falling asleep or they fall asleep, I'm trying to be quiet. I might stream a little bit of my own adult shows.
I mean, hanging out with my nieces, moments like that. I mean, I just watch YouTube or just something, one of my other.
Or start scrolling on
doom scrolling.
Yep. No, it's micro learning. Trying to be optimistic.
Hey, that's actually more fitting. I actually got in that discussion at work once about. Some people show memes or other videos. Like, you ever heard of Skibidi Toilet?
Just because of John and Riss, but that's all I know.
That's amazing that you actually heard it from them too.
They were explaining it to me, and I still didn't understand, but Sai was explaining it all.
The term, I think, really is just brain rot. That's what it is. But it's those weird, kind of like...
Is it just lots of little snippets?
You remember Charlie the Unicorn?
No. I don't think we watched.
You were the internet person, and I can't believe I'm having this moment.
I didn't watch a lot of the stuff that was
because this moment you're having is me at work with my coworkers that are like around my age or a little younger.
I didn't watch a lot.
They're like, you heard of this person, this and that, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
No, I watch more long form.
See, I do too, but Charlie the Unicorn was like 15 years ago. That was
it for me, brother?
Honestly, my older sister showed me that one, and like. Well, you don't know who Jenna Marbles is, so I guess that's not too far.
Did they skip some of the quiet parts in the Black Cat? Did they
jump forward? That thing playing.
Really? Even during that 30-minute intermission thing?
Well,
that's what I was wondering about. Mostly.
John got the MMA coaches together, and they kind of discussed during those moments like different things from the fights, and I guess the rest of us were just.
He did the breakdown during the party.
Now when they came back, I think Riss like fast forwarded after that.
I didn't know if they watched all the fights or just other people's fights.
No, we were watching all of them. I think.
Yeah, they didn't skip any.
Well, we left early. Like we're older. I mean, we act old per se. Me and my wife. You're
not 20 like some of the other
guys?
It
was 8:45. She was nudging me like it is getting kind of late. Like, all right, we'll see y'all. I gotta go home and cook me a steak or something.
I got you.
Go to bed. Like, yeah, that's what most of my Saturday nights look like.
I was curious if it went well because I knew you went. And I was like, that looks fun.
It was fun. I would definitely. The only thing that wasn't fun was just, as you can imagine, sitting on the mats with like no backrest. Yeah, this old back was
because of how they had it orientated too. Is that one wall is the one unpadded wall?
Yeah.
And so there's no backing,
and it's all the way.
And my neck gets stiff so quick now that I'm old, and so staring sideways the whole time. I think my neck is.
Some of us were against the wall like this, kind of like sideways, looking up.
Yeah, that would kill my neck. I would just lay down and then hope I don't get stabbed.
I went over there and just grabbed one of those punching pads.
Yeah,
and it was like just kind of saving my knees, like sitting up like a yoga block, just getting the pressure off my legs.
I mean, I know the mats get cleaned, but still, just laying on them for hours. So that's how you get stuff too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I do miss that machine though. At the Y, they had like that disinfectant box.
It doesn't even matter. It just gets exposed to so much funk every day. I'm sure that helps, but
hey, every little bit helps.
That's right.
But what was I going to say? There was something else I was about to.
You were talking about Jenna Marbles, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
Well, okay, so you're talking about the brain rot, and
you were talking about the brain rot.
So okay, we're working backwards. Stay with me now.
Okay.
We were talking about. Well, we look on our feeds like doom scrolling.
Oh, yeah,
You're talking about micro learning, right? Well, I found out that's actually what I do. Because like even Callie, she'll send me some stuff. She's like, "Oh, you haven't seen that video yet?" Like, I'm like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Even my coworkers. And one day I finally pulled one of them aside and I was like, "Show me your YouTube feed. Like, I want to see what it looks like." And I that whole feed looked like that Skibidi toilet type shit.
I try to explain to people.
And I'm like, and I look at mine, and then one buddy Garner, he was like, "You're like some old man, like how to fix this, how to how to make that." Like
that's why I'm talking to people about their algorithms, and everything gets what's the word for it? Gets
acclimated to you.
It starts showing you stuff that it thinks you want to see. And it's like if you watch one video, then it starts changing towards that. Yeah, my wife's and mine are completely different. Hers is a lot of mom stuff and gardening stuff, and mine's violence and man stuff.
You know, I've made jokes about that before to Callie, like getting through the For You page, and I'm just like, I really wish it'd figure me out quicker. I'm hating some of these suggestions. Like
you can reset some of them now, and I tried it, and I don't know if it reset anything.
Now I'm the type, I've changed hobbies so many times.
Yeah,
like I've actually even picked up. This was 2010, 2011. You know the ads that come up on the sides of stuff, anyways. Yep. I switched hobbies so much back then that I actually noticed then about the ads kind of being targeted towards what you're watching at that time, and then resetting new accounts. I mean,
some of my accounts are so old that it's just it's just confused. It's like you used to like this, now you like this, and it shows me things over 20 years.
When I was trying to log back in, when we were switching back and forth on your account to upload the videos, I actually had to find an old one of mine just to get the email. To get the login for myself to get in there.
I gotcha.
2013, John was into different things than I am now.
That's good. You're maturing and growing.
I don't know about maturing, but going in a certain direction.
So do you guys watch some of the UFC stuff then? Just a little bit? We
saw 2 fights. I couldn't tell you the name of either fighter.
Well, Ian Gary was the main one, and I didn't even care about the main guy. But and then Anthony Smith, it was the one that he retired on. He's the bald guy. This was supposed to be his last fight.
I guess. I think I saw a highlight of him fighting. He won his match?
No, he lost. But he was going to retire no matter what. He got beat in the first round. But I wanted to know if they did like a compilation of all his stuff for him at the UFC, because I think it was all premeditated that he was retiring. And so I didn't know if they're going to do a big send-off and like zoom in on him crying and all that stuff. I was just curious. I didn't watch it.
I didn't. But I did see a clip that Dustin Poirier is having his last fight in New Orleans. You seen that?
Yeah, against
Max Holloway.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He said he actually wanted a legend as his last fight. Yeah, it's going to be for the DMF title.
Yeah, Patty, the baddie, and some other people were trying to do it, and he's like, "No, you guys aren't legends. You can't fight me."
Not to say they're not good, but it's like it's his retirement fight. Like he wants to go, and then he also mentioned in that video about. He was Max Holloway's first fight when Max was in the UFC.
Oh, nice. I didn't know about that.
So he's like, so it's actually kind of a beautiful reverse.
Beginning and then the end. Mm-hmm. Max Holloway isn't young either.
No. He started.
They got to be similar age.
I want to say he was a teenager when he was in the UFC, like a 19.
They're probably both 35, 36 area.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Do you know who Malcolm Wellmaker is? So I already knew you didn't, but I was quizzing you anyway. So there was
He
a
knows
guy
me
fighter
so
on
well.
there who came from the Contender Series and got a UFC contract, and he is a union pipe welder in Georgia. And he said in his UFC debut that if he got a bonus, he was going to quit his job the next day. And so his first fight was on that card, and he knocked the guy out in the first round, and they gave him a $50,000 bonus. And so he went on the Instagram and all that stuff and quit his welding job the next day. And he said that, everyone was happy for him and, were, wanting him to do well. And he says he always has that job, obviously, to fall back on if things don't work out, but he wanted to fight full time. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
It is.
So he's got all this stuff of him training and welding and working by day and then training by night. It's pretty neat little story.
I would have to say them welders they're one. I mean, they are personalities. But at my work, I mean, I used to inspect them all the time, which it's kind of like low level type welding at our place. But we've had a couple come in. They're like marine grade welders.
I always thought that sounded cool.
They are on a different level.
Yeah, I always thought that sounded really cool. I worked with a pipe fitter back in Indiana, and he went on an oil rig for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how much money he made. It was ridiculous, and it was only seasonal. And you can only be in the water for so many hours a day, and then they boat in all kinds of food, and they have all these chefs and ingrown, or not ingrown. They have like a home theater and whatnot. I was like, this sounds great. This sounds like you're away on vacation. Just weld a little bit during the day, and then just stay there all night.
I thought about something like I've heard of people around here going on the boat on the Mississippi.
Lots of dredges and lots of
working like 3 months out of the year or something. And I was like, isn't that Mark Twain?
We have some guys that do that full time and do rock jobs and make a lot of money, but you're gone a lot.
Yeah.
There's the pros and cons.
I guess it's just what you want out of life, what you're doing and whatnot.
Exactly.
Like I said, I make a lot of decisions on whims and gotten myself into a few situations I've had to dig out of, but it's all part of the adventure. You want to do another one, or you want my next?
Sure, you give me one of yours.
I want to know your thoughts on your approach to training and learning.
Training and learning?
Well, in jiu-jitsu, or just be any other hobby or subject that you have. I know you lean more towards you just want more live rolls. You value those more than drilling.
I like 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't like drilling from start to finish over and over and over. I think you should drill it a few times and get the hang of it and figure out the move, but I definitely think you need to learn how to apply it. So kind of a flow roll, and then you can kind of start amping it up and do it more full speed.
Right.
But really, I think rolling with white belts is the best way to learn the new stuff that they kind of let you work, even though they don't know that they're letting you work. And I've heard Joe Rogan and people talking about, drilling with blue belts is what helped them. And Mikey, Musinelli, whatever his name is, he trains primarily with blue belts and figure out a lot of moves and where they get to dead ends and corners, how to work around and explore with that. So I think there's some truth to it.
Now I've seen the video. I don't know if it was Danaher or Gordon Ryan talking about how if you have a new submission you're working on, it's attack the white belt, see if it works, and if that works, start attacking the blue belts with that approach.
I like that.
And usually, I think some of them just go straight, just start with the blue belts, trying a new move instead of just waiting until it works on the white belts. I don't know if this is fully true or not from the upper belts I've rode with and the white belts I've rode with. Sometimes them white belts are really more unpredictable. I know I've heard that phrase. You probably could get injured quicker with a white belt.
I think the blue belts are dangerous.
But that too. Which that's another thing I might bring up here in a minute too. I ain't even shown you yet. But.
No, I just especially now that I keep getting hurt, but if anything starts to get weird or dangerous, I just bail on everything.
Well,
and they don't even know.
I guess I was thinking as your rolling strategy.
Yeah.
White belts are so unpredictable. It's a completely different approach. At least with the blue belts.
Yeah, because you have to protect yourself and you have to protect them because they don't even know what's going on.
And with the blue belt, they have an idea of what they're trying to do, and you kind of know which direction they're running with it.
You know what they remind me of? They remind me of what Callie and all of us were talking about Thursday with some of the teenagers, is that they go with strength or spaz over technique and try to just power the way through. And it's like you're skipping steps here that if you would get those down, then you could, if you'd slow down and get this right, then you can speed up and it'll work so much better. Right. And they're like, no, full speed now and just skip all the steps and just see what happens. And I laugh because I see that. But I think you need to roll with people. Well, it's going to be hard for you because you're on the higher spectrum, but I'm kind of in the medium-ish. That,
what do you mean by higher spectrum?
Is that, so you're talking about belt levels and I'm talking about body size and weights too. Is that I can roll with smaller people and play with stuff,
right?
And I can roll with people my size and see if it works. And then I'm rolling with the bigger guys or like Jordan and Seth. I can't get a lot of things on them because they're as bigger or stronger. And I feel like when they roll with everybody below them, they can force things without even going full strength just because they're bigger and athletic. And they're only like people that they get to practice against is each other or Cameron or some of these white belts / new blue belts, which isn't really helping them develop their stuff.
Right.
It's like they're kind of, so they're having to slow down or pull back in some of their strength to more of a flow roll.
See, I know in my experience rolling with quite a few bigger people and smaller people.
You got some strong guys now that we didn't used to have.
I know the best strategy I've had does if I'm rolling with a bigger person or a smaller person, it's like, all right, I want to win this roll. The smaller person, I'm slowing them down. It's like when I grab something, I'm not letting go. And it's like I'm working around that grip that I'm using. Whereas at the big person, it's like I kind of just want them reacting because they're not going to move as fast. And I'm like, well, I'm not a big person. I can move a little quicker. I'm a little spry for my size. So it's like I can actually speed up a bit and then just try to get around them or on top of them to where they're on their side. It's like when I'm the big person, I'm moving slower. It's like I'm trying to crush you. I'm not going to try to move quick because you're going to move quicker than me. I'm going to lose that battle and I'm going to get tired quicker. That big person, it's like you're going to get tired before I do if you keep up this pace.
So you're dictating the pace regardless is kind of your strategy.
Then, like I said, sometimes the grips too, because the big person, like I might be that much stronger than them and I could hold on to that grip for dear life. But I'm really going to tire out. Whereas if I just, all right, you broke that one. But right before they're about to break it, I'm letting go and switching grips. And then while they're trying the grip fight, it's like, all right, I'm moving this way. Whereas the little person, it's like, I don't want to fully compare it to like fighting a child, but it's like, it's like you keeping the child pushed away. It's like, yeah, just keep swinging. Like, like, like the old comment, like you just hold them on the head. Yep. It's like, scrappy dude, like they're just swinging away. And it's like, go ahead, tire yourself out. It's all right. I'm just going to sit here and wait.
But I also think that the most time on the mats is the best. I feel like, I don't know if it's a younger generation thing or what, but it seems like they're always trying to find shortcuts or how to get as good as possible, as quickly as possible. And I think that it's just the most time on them. I don't think there's any shortcuts.
No, I will say.
I try to come almost every day. And,
I feel like that's where we differ. Whereas you're
I like to be there
more
every day.
like every day. Whereas me, it's more.
But I'm not trying hard every day. I'm just there every day.
Which
so then you're getting the most reps too. That way.
I'd agree with that. I do like that. It's just sometimes you need your days of rest. Maybe you need to step back, look at it from a different lens.
Yeah, that day I'm just gonna
watching instructionals or
that day I'm just gonna play bottom side control and just lay there.
Just give up on life.
Just gonna shrimp around on bottom.
You know what? I'm not gonna learn today. Somebody else is learning something.
Hey, I'm working on defending that day. Yeah, but I don't know.
Which I'll segue this.
Segue it. Let me hear it.
So, do you study any outside of class?
I mean, I'm always watching matches and highlights.
Micro learning.
That's right. I do a lot of micro learning.
So you probably are more on Instagram, and do you watch any YouTube videos?
No, I don't do. So jiu-jitsu is different. I don't watch a lot
which I got instructionals written down.
Yeah, I don't watch any instructionals.
You know, it's funny.
What?
Me and Callie, we've got I don't know how many instructionals.
I know, and I felt like that was a little bit older school.
She's watched every one of them. I haven't watched a single one.
Yes, it's hard.
Which is it's hard to sit down and watch because the Danaher ones. We got two of them. One was free. One was 80% off. But I mean, the man puts 10 plus hours in each one, and it's like you're getting your money's worth. But I'm like, to have 10 hours to sit down and actually go through this, it's not easy to sit down. Whereas the micro learning is easy. Like I'm at break at work for like 10 minutes. I can actually watch a 5-10 minute video and kind of grab the idea real quick.
So there's two ways I think about it. So first off, is that Danaher obviously is systematic, so that's probably a good instructional. But some of those instructionals, I don't know if they're just making stuff up, or I want to see it be applied at a high level. There's a lot of stuff that's like blue belts and purple belts showing some stuff on Instagram, and it's like, yeah, well, all that's going to work against a white belt in your gym. Right. So that's why I watch more competitions and matches. Be like, okay, if it works in a live scenario, then maybe there's some truth behind it. It's battle tested already.
Right.
You know, and that's when I liked Fowler. Fowler, when he came, he was showing stuff. He's like, oh, well, I hit this in this black belt match. I'm like, all right, cool. Or Fiona, whatever her name is.
Fion.
Doing knee cuts and all this stuff, you know, on the live stage, and there's evidence of it. I'm like, okay, well, there's some truth to that.
Right.
And some of the stuff is flashy and fun, and then sometimes I feel like it's not high probability or if it's worth it.
I'll say I feel like the flashy stuff works when they're not expecting it.
And you're setting traps and doing some of that. But then, you know, you go back to wrestling or, you know, a different sport that you can compare it to, maybe basketball, I don't know, but it's like the basics work all the way at a high level and people are still hitting the basics. I mean, you see some flashy stuff from time to time at a high level, but a lot of it's just the basics perfect all the way to a T.
The basics done at high speed, I think, really overdue. Like,
and then Fowler talking about timing and some of his points was really interesting. I was like, okay.
And that's what I really liked about his seminar, talking about like the sweeps, which I love sweeps anyway. So I felt like it was
some of that stuff you do, but you didn't know why you did it, and then him really driving home the points. I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense with the timing. And you feel the weight shift. And you're like, oh, I knew that. I just didn't ever think about it consciously.
I don't tire out as much during class now after he showed like the feeling. No, I always knew like the feeling. Like if I really felt them like resisting the sweep, I was like, all right, I'm just not doing it right.
Or time to bail to something else or whatever.
Whereas where he was talking is like really feeling when they shift their weight and you know that direction is free, like it's not going to take any effort. And I'm like, damn, that is like really smart. Like
I still wonder about that though. Like after a long practice, I wonder if we're improving and so we're being lazy and not getting a good workout versus I've said this point before. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like we used to get so tired through practice and be tired at the end. And it's like now I'll leave practice and be like, was I being lazy today and could have worked harder and was just using shortcuts, like how to frame and when to work and when not to work? Is like, should I have done more?
I've always viewed it as like,
is it improvement or is it laziness? I don't know.
Well, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, or actually this morning.
John's never tired never sweats when he's there at all, which I know he's not rolling hard, but the higher levels, it's like they don't sweat.
Oh, well, no. But I mean, I've always viewed mat time as more of, well, martial arts in general. You're trying to learn a technique, and what makes a technique effective? One, it's got to work. But two, it's got to be somewhat efficient. Because the whole point is being able to fight somebody else. If you didn't have any technique, it's really who's ever going to be stronger and probably a little more better conditioned. The bigger person beating the little person. They have the strength and all those attributes.
Let's use an example.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue that you roll less now than you used to when you first started, maybe.
Oh, way less.
When you were more excited and gung-ho, you were new.
I was there every day.
But, so, arguably, you should have worse conditioning than what you had. But you've improved technique-wise and skill-wise.
I think about that every class.
So do you leave, you think now, at the same kind of tiredness of before, or way less now?
If I'm tired when I leave class, I feel like I've done stuff wrong.
That's how you think?
That's how I think. It's like, you know what? I was really trying to muscle that technique. And I feel like, man, I shouldn't have, like, I ought to know it better to where either I catch it and it's right there, or I should be able to, like, work my way more smoothly through it. Because I'm under the idea of I can always have that strength in my back pocket. Kind of like when you get, like you've said before, like you go to sink a submission on somebody, you're not ripping it.
No, not at all.
I think the same way on like guard passing and sweeps. If I don't have to rip it and get it done, I feel like I'm doing something right, especially against a resisting opponent. And when it comes to that tournament, when I just like, I don't feel it fully efficient, and I'm like, fuck it. Like, we're ripping it. Like, we're doing it just to get it done. And so, hey, we're on top now, or if I need the submission, it's like, all right, we're sinking this like right now. Like we're not, or if you're out in the street, like I always keep it in my back pocket, especially if I'm trying to do something. I'm like, all right, this probably would be one I would just go gung ho with it, but trying, you know, I mean, you got people rolling beside you. You don't want to hurt nobody.
Yeah.
You know, trying to be mindful and honestly, I think that's, I mean, it's called the gentle art. I feel like for a reason. You're trying to learn how to do something without hurting them or yourself. But
I always wonder that, though. It's on the back of my head. Like now, I wear more layers to get the same sweat, and I feel like work that I did before, the back of the Y. But also, our time is cut almost in half because we're always getting kicked off the mats for May, except for Tuesdays and Thursdays where we can roll more. And then we do get to roll more, but yeah, I think, well, I mean, I roll a lot, and I guess everything's improving, so I'm just not getting the same amount of exertion. I feel like I need to double my mat time to get to that feeling.
If you thought about like what you're talking about, getting that more rolling time, that's more cardio anyways. And more of the...
But I used to be, when I was a white belt, I was dead. I was like, you had to pick me up off the mat. I was like, muscles were cramping, no more sweat.
You had a little more weight on you too at that time.
A little bit more muscle, you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I would always think about that in the back of my head. I'm like, I don't know if I'm being lazy or not. If I'm being accidental lazy is what I guess I could call it.
I feel like I'm just wore down from all that.
Just laying in a turtle and waiting for them to move and be like, all right, now I'll go.
Which I think that's...
better jiu-jitsu, I suppose, but...
I mean, you don't... If you tire yourself out, I mean, if you imagined it, what it is, martial arts, self-defense, you're fighting outside, strategy, tactics, all that. If you wear yourself out trying to strong arm somebody out in the parking lot, well, here comes his two buddies right after. He's like, and you're tired because you just did everything as inefficient as possible. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to fight them two dudes. Hey, you know, just calm down, you two. No, it's... Whereas if you were more smooth, efficient with it, you'd have the energy to continue on. I feel like that's the point myself.
You know what you made me think of? Is that ever since the Black Hat cage fights or whatever, Juan's been trying to make Jacob do a comp round every day after class. And Jacob finally did one last week. And he said, he's like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm still tired and sore. He's like, screw it. I'm going to go out there and just try to submit him real quick. And that's what he did. He went straight into a triangle. He's like, I'm just trying to get off this mat. And he walked up, and I was like, maybe he didn't take any time at all. He's like, I didn't even want to do that. And I was laughing, but he was just relieved. But,
that's how I feel half the time.
But he was going down the line. He's like, Cameron, he's like, oh, he just fought, or whatever, who it was. I guess it wasn't Cameron. But he's going down the line. He got to Jacob. He's like, all right, Jacob, you come out here. Jake's like, what the heck? I always have to come out here, and I fought too. But he got it over with good.
Poor Jacob.
Yeah, poor Jacob.
Shout out to Jacob. We love you, man.
Well, I was laughing. He's like, I always have to do comp rounds. He's like in that nice sweet spot for his weight and then not being a high level belt. So they just use him for anybody.
I do kind of like about my weight. You know, I'm not picked too often.
Seth doesn't get picked too often either, except for Jordan lately.
Oh, no. Well, Seth's the one with his hand right.
I know, but they're like, you're too big. Him and Cameron were going a lot. That was cool.
Which I kind of want to segue into that, too.
Hey, I'm here to segue you.
Since we're talking about, I don't think he's just too big. I think he's too damn rough.
Is it Seth? He's rough to you because he'll talk smack and then he brings it to class.
You got a light?
He's gentle with me.
You got a flashlight?
Yep.
You're not going to be able to see this. I want you seeing the inside of my mouth anyways.
Oh, your dang tooth?
Look at that molar.
It looks good, man.
No, take a look at it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Nah, he's just playing for the camera. You not see that chunk missing?
Is there a little piece missing in the corner?
Brother.
I think you guys talk smack all the time. He brought it to you.
Yeah, he brought his elbow to my face. He's trying to spaz out of that bottom position that I had him in. I still love you, Seth, but you've lost your rolling privileges with me.
He's gentle with me.
Well, and see, that's the other part I can't figure out. I don't know why it's such an accomplishment to tap me, Seth. Like, you don't, if you just roll a little easier, I'll give you more looks. You ain't just got to roll hard. Hey, bud.
So you got
which also, I don't know when we'll clip in the videos on this edit, but we got a pup cam on here as well. Showing Rose always walking by. Get little edits, but
we'll put the edit right there.
You being for real? You didn't see that shit?
I saw a little bit. I was just laughing.
A little bit. Motherfucker. Literally eating my lunch at work, and it's like, it felt like there was a piece of gravel in my mouth. I was like, the fuck is this? literally a chunk of my own tooth. And then when I get to the bathroom, I see my whole filling on the left side just gone. I'm like, I'm not rolling with you, at least for the rest of the summer. Like, that's it. Like,
The summer hasn't even started yet.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be
Wow.
like August or September.
It's Seth's fault that John's taking another hiatus.
Well, I'm going to be at the gym. I just said.
So you're only going to have easy rolls?
Well, I'm just not rolling with Seth.
Wow.
Everybody else is invited. Seth has lost his rolling privileges with me.
Dang.
Rude.
You hear that?
Did you hear that, Seth? I hope you were watching.
But I told you I'm a bird whisperer now. I told you that story a little bit.
You know, you sent me the video, but I didn't get to listen.
We had a bird hit our window over the weekend, and I googled what it was. It was a rose-breasted grosbeak. I don't know what that is, but we have these birds here lately in town, and my wife's into birds. The mother-in-law's into birds.
I like birds.
They have all kinds of bird. Well, Zazu. They have all kinds of bird feeders. And
say that again.
Zazu.
Zazu. I say Zazu.
Zazu.
Zazu. You know?
And
I'm surprised you hadn't really.
But they're always identifying birds and tell me what's what, and I'm always like, am I allowed to shoot that one? They're like, no, not that one. You can shoot blackbirds, I guess, is the only ones I'm green lit on, which I normally don't anyway. But I have a BB gun, so I joke about it. I'm like, can I shoot that one? And it'll be like a robin. They're like, no, not that one. Like bluebird, like, no, not that one.
Yeah, you're not supposed to shoot that.
I'm just giving them a hard time, just stressing them out.
Do you know what the Tennessee state bird is?
Is that a cardinal?
No.
Bluebird?
No.
I have no idea.
It's a mockingbird.
I think I knew that. The wife would have known.
Which is funny. My mom likes birds too. She fucking hates mockingbirds.
I think we have a nest in our in my carport right now, and I think it's a mockingbird. It's either a mockingbird or bluebird.
Because they're the mean ones.
Mockingbirds?
They'll attack your pets. They'll attack you if you're messing with their stuff.
I don't know if it's a mockingbird then. It's something like that. But this
you'd notice it. I mean, it's got the long tail and it's grayish, like real small bodied.
I don't know if the mockingbird is the mom or if the mockingbird is trying to knock them out of the nest and like take the nest. I don't know if it's an aggressor.
That's not a mockingbird, to my knowledge.
Well, then I think the mockingbird's the mom. We definitely have a nest and some babies though.
I want to say there was one called a cowbird that did that, where they went into the nest and actually destroyed all the eggs while the bird was gone, laid its own, and then goes away.
Yeah, no, this bird was trying to like kick the babies out, whatever it was. Unless maybe it wasn't mockingbird.
Which birds are ruthless.
They're mean, and they're kind of nasty little rodents.
Well, they come from dinosaurs, you know. Still got that aggression in them.
But the bird was stunned, and so I picked him up, and he just was hanging out on my finger. And then I let the kids see him and everything.
Ain't that cool?
And the wife was all excited because I guess the bird comes from South America and goes up to Canada, and so they stop in Tennessee.
So ain't that cool?
I mean, it was kind of cool.
Something.
Yeah, and so then he flew off and he was fine. So he moved on to have a good day, I suppose.
Look at you.
So I'm a bird whisperer now.
Huh.
So I put these baby birds back in the nest the other day, and then I had that bird on my finger, and I haven't shot any in a while. So I guess I've turned over a new leaf.
You think that's why Zazu isn't squawking as much?
Maybe he feels my good bird energy.
He's like, okay, yeah, he's cool with birds now.
But yep, that was my bird story. Oh, he heard me.
That's what it was. He's also our alarm system. Anybody pulls up.
I'm gonna test you here. So we had the son's baptism this weekend, and I know you guys don't have kids yet, but that is such an ordeal because you had him squawking the whole time. So we're feeding him little baby snacks to keep him happy, and every time people are singing and doing stuff, he's swinging his arms around and getting excited. And then the daughter, she's getting close to 4. She's 3 pews up, 3 pews the other way. She's trying to go up there, and then during the baptism, they have all these tools, for it. Mm-hmm. She's trying to touch things and do stuff, and
like a child.
The whole time, yeah. Father Patrick's his name. I was like, man, this guy has such good patience to deal with all this, and our kids are being loud, other kids are being loud, and they still just keep going forward and steady with all the church stuff. I was like, I don't know how you can do that. I was like, it was stressing me out, giving me anxiety, and they're my kids. I deal with them every day. And he just didn't even pause, just kept going with all the church things.
But, I think it's a sign of a good teacher as well, being able to handle those type of situations.
I don't know if you know about this or not, but the Pope died last weekend, 2 weekends ago, whatever. And so we've been watching some of that on the news or whatever.
That was one of the topics that I kind of scratched out. I was going to ask you about.
I'm obviously not very religious at all myself, but it brought up questions because the last one, he's been a pope for 12 years or something. Mm-hmm. They don't have terms or anything. So I was like, oh, when's the last one? And so,
I thought you were the Catholic.
I don't pay attention to all this. If you go 12 years ago, I would have been 21, 22, so I wasn't paying attention to that then either.
So what you're saying is you didn't have a picture of them in your house?
No, absolutely not. No, I barely have a picture of my mom in my house. What do you mean? No, I could have told you his name. That was about it. But he passed away or whatever, right? And so we're watching the service stuff on TV, and I was like, well, how's that work for when they get a new one? And I guess it's a whole ordeal of how they vote on it, and it could take a week, it can take a month, it could take a really long time. And I didn't know all that, but they get buried, I guess, with 3 coffins, and then there's some get crypts, and there's different ways to do it. But that was like 3 coffins. But then I guess the last one was modest and only did 1 coffin, or I don't know. They can do it differently.
See, I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about any of it.
I do know the voting part, which I did watch a video to refresh about it. But I mean, so
it has to be 2/3 votes, right, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
it could anybody that is Catholic. Honestly, by the rules, first rule you have to be a man, and second rule you have to be a Catholic. And technically, that's the only 2 written rules.
See, I was
curious.
The
Cardinals vote, which most of the time they vote for themselves.
Yep.
One of their own, but I guess with the new age, with the new social media,
I was trying to compare it against, how our politics is in the U.S. And I was like, I wonder if they try to get together and make little groups of, hey, you vote for me, or how they political,
oh, hassle cards type stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder how that works with the church, because they show some of the stuff on TV, but a lot of it's behind closed doors.
Ain't that what Dan Brown was writing about, or something?
I don't know.
The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, that.
What was your thoughts on that movie?
I did not like it. I didn't read the book, and I watched the movie.
It didn't fit with your experience in the Catholic Church?
I have minimal experience in the church. No, but
well, I heard Catholics hated the book, which I could be wrong on that too.
I didn't like the movie,
or that he doesn't like Catholics.
I also didn't watch any of Mel Gibson's movies on.
You didn't like Passion of the Christ?
I didn't watch any of those, buddy.
Dude, I love that one.
Now you want to talk about Little Nicky, or
I mean, I watched
or Saving Private Ryan, or something like that.
Too, I mean,
all the Friday series, I got you, but some of these others, no.
Where's the water?
But yeah. Anyway, long story short, I didn't know
Don't need no water.
a lot about the Catholic stuff, and I've been learning about it now. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then, so the last pope before this one, he resigned after so many years, and that was the first time one of them's done that, and they said like 6 centuries. I was like, I did not know that.
Yeah, they can die, resign. I don't know if they can get fired or not.
I don't know. They pretty much have like the most power in the world.
Well, one buddy at work, he is Catholic. He was talking to me about it. Like, apparently this Pope Francis was actually a very like liberal.
Yeah, he was changing stuff for gay, and
each one actually has like their own. I don't know if we were talking about this the other day or not. I know we were with him, but no. Funny enough, shout out to Jacob again. He's Catholic.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, it came up. We got to talking about the Pope Francis. That's who I was having that conversation.
I'll have to ask him about it,
because we were talking about that. He's like, yeah, there's somebody in Asia, there's somebody in Africa. I forget which country in Africa, or even the one in Asia. But I mean, it's like the one in Africa, they were talking about like he's like super strict. Like he's one of those like strict cats. Like, no, you're going to hell. Like, go away.
Yeah,
like,
don't mess around.
Like, no play at all.
I think all the religions are getting more liberal, because I think they're losing members, and then they're all kind of competing for membership. So if they don't change a little bit with the times, everything's becoming more woke in general. So
yeah,
it just
like I said, that's why I was thinking about like the social media kind of changing things. Yeah, I think more of the votes probably were just because
more popularity contest.
My mind was blown last week when they were discussing it at work, and I was like, well, yeah, they're going to vote somebody within the Cardinals. And they were like, no, it can be anybody in the world. And we're like, oh, okay. Like, all right, that does make it more interesting. Yeah. But I knew, like, they do the smoke.
I don't know how long it's going to take either, yeah.
Till they figure it out. Apparently that's just part of the process.
And I was watching it, and I was like, do they get private security? I was worried. I was thinking about all the policing of it all. And so I was like, do they get private security, or do they have their own monks that are out there doing kung fu, keeping it safe?
Did you ever watch Archer? That's what I'm thinking of now.
I've seen a little bit of it.
Where he's making fun of it. He goes, oh, I forget what they're called. The something guard? The Swedish guard?
Yeah, they have like their own. I was like, how's the Swedish guard involved with the Vatican and all that?
Well, I don't know if it's the Swedes or not, but I mean,
it's like purple and yellow striped uniforms.
But in the show, Archer, he makes fun of it because they're trying to infiltrate the Vatican. And they're like, oh, what's they going to do with their little spears? And the other chick's like, no, they have guns now. Like now they're actually like armed to the T.
So I was watching them though, and I was like, before I knew about the Swedish Guard, I was like, whoever is policing it is going to have to be super religious and know, how they're walking or what they're doing and all the protocols, so they're in the right spots at the right times. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I saw it was a Swedish Guard, and I was like, oh well, I guess they're Catholic. I don't know what they do. But it's interesting that they're there. I was like, I don't know how they're mixed into it all. It seems like an odd left field thing.
So they're not kung fu monks.
No,
they have to protect themselves.
But then I started thinking about that Brad Pitt movie where he went to Tibet.
7 years in Tibet.
And I was like, well, I was thinking before I knew anything about Catholic, I was like, oh, that'd be cool if they found a baby that was born and they're like on this world search for the baby that's the next pope. But obviously, it doesn't work like that. But
Did you like that movie?
I mean, I watched it in school. It was whatever. It seemed like...
Oh, dang, you watched it in school?
I think it was 2.5 hours of randomness.
Yeah. I watched it on Netflix, actually, last
year. It reminds me
year.
of Batman when he goes off on his... when he's developing his Batman thing.
That.
Before, he's doing all the Batman stuff, but he goes on his pilgrimage.
7 years around the world.
Because he was a bad guy to learn about life or whatever, and Brad Pitt just got out of prison or whatever when he was going on it.
Well, the 7 years in Tibet, he was a mountain climber.
I thought he was like an ex-con, and then he went to go climb a mountain.
I think they were threatening to arrest him because he was traveling across
Maybe
borders.
I need to rewatch it, because I thought he was getting out of prison.
Because he was like Austrian. Yeah. That's why he was like blonde, but he was leaving his family. He was like, I'm a professional mountain climber. I'm going to go climb so-and-so mountain. And then he got lost over there. He had like an injury. The
Dalai Lama?
Mm-hmm. Like they tried to I only remember because I watched it last year. I didn't finish the movie.
Oh.
I honestly didn't like it.
You turned it off to put on...
and I'm a Brad Pitt fan.
The Da Vinci Code?
No, I've been meaning to rewatch that, actually. I actually liked the Da Vinci Code as a kid. Hey, bud.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more National Treasure-ish. And I was like, oh, this is just super serious and boring. And at the time I watched it, and so I was just not in the mood at all.
Yeah.
They said Da Vinci Code. I thought there was going to be some secrets and...
Oh, there was.
There
kind of was.
Yeah, but I was thinking Indiana Jones, not like that comical.
You were expecting more action.
I thought it was going to be kind of an adventure, and it wasn't at all.
That type of movie is called a thriller. When there's not as much action.
It was not very thrilling, John.
Bro, you just... We'll work on that. Well, you're the one that fast-forwarded through all the actual cool parts of John Wick and just only watched the action parts.
He only says 200 and some words, so there's not a whole lot to skip there.
Segue.
We're
at 45 minutes right now, so we can start.
I got most
since you interviewed me one of the other times. This is the interview for Roberto. What college did you attend?
Which time?
All of them.
I went to...
start at the beginning,
okay,
and when you get to the end, stop.
I went to a Christian college, private college for a year. That's where I wrestled. Hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Was that a 4-year or a community?
That was a 4-year college. I only went there for a year up in Angola, Indiana. It's right on the Michigan border. In Indiana, you can't buy alcohol on Sundays, so people would go to Michigan and get alcohol on Sundays and then come back.
Sounds like my college.
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes or something drive. But no, it was a small college. I knew everybody there. It was pretty much 90% athletes, I think, that were trying to continue sports. It's real small. But no, I did it for a year and then just didn't want to wrestle anymore, so I left. And that was probably 4 hours from home. It's up past Fort Wayne. It's way up in the northeast corner. And then, so then I transferred to Indiana State. And I went to Indiana State because I'm from Purdue and I didn't want to stay home. And then being from Purdue, IU is our rivals, so I couldn't go to IU just because I hated IU, being a Purdue fan. And so that's how I ended up at Indiana State. And then Larry Bird went there, and then Bruce Baumgartner, who's famous. I don't think his name is Bruce. I don't know. Maybe it is in my head. But he's a famous wrestler that went there. They used to have a wrestling program, but they don't anymore. They actually cut that and male gymnastics to make room for female sports whenever that push was, 70s or 80s or whatever.
I gotcha.
But the wrestling team was really good, so it sucks they got rid of it. He's one of the most famous American wrestlers.
I'll have to look into him.
But yeah, then I went there for a while.
Is that where you graduated? Or did you...
Yep. Graduated from Indiana State.
And that's the next part, the next segue. What was your major, and did you have a minor? Would you graduate?
I was gonna do political science. The goal was to be a history teacher and coach wrestling. And then halfway through, I was like, I really don't like kids that much, other people's kids. And and I was working construction the whole time, like every break from school. As soon as I was 18, I was working construction, and so I was around construction. And I was like, well, if I go to school for construction management, then I could be the boss. And so it kind of pulled me that way. And then everyone kept telling me that I wasn't going to graduate anyway, and so that helped me to, in spite of you, I'll show you. And so I graduated because of that, probably. But I went to school for construction management, and
sometimes that's needed.
And then I minored in safety while I was there in OSHA.
What'd you say your major was? Construction management. Construction management, and then minored in OSHA.
Yep, in safety.
Ah,
that's why I always talk to Ben about being the OSHA man. We talk about safety things sometimes. Ben Caldwell, purple belt Ben.
I love Ben. God, I
need
some more Ben in my life.
I know. I wish he'd keep coming around. Man, his son.
Okay, I'm having to look up at him.
The sucker's 14. He's like, what, 6'3"?
He's
230 or something?
Exactly. He's got the weight and the height.
And then Juan has to tell the new people, like, hey, be careful. He's a teenager. He's a grown man. He'll throw you around now. Exactly. He's only 13 or 14, but he'll chuck you.
You better tell him to calm down.
Yeah.
Tell us
he's big boy. Just solid all around. Football, basketball, does all the sports, I think.
Safety OSHA. I'll definitely have some more questions. You know what? Actually, I'll leave it to one question on the safety OSHA part. See if you know it or not.
Well, maybe.
Fire extinguishers.
You better initial them every month.
Hold on. This is more of a pet peeve with me at my work.
Okay.
We do safety stuff. We do the DuPont safety. Well, this was probably after when you got that degree, maybe. I don't know. Anywho, the DuPont stop safety type stuff, we go around at each machine once. With me, it's once a week because I have to do the supervision one. But something throughout the plant I've always noticed was the fire extinguishers, especially in the warehouse. People just put stuff in front of them just all the time. And it's like, well, like they'll lay a pallet down, which is an empty pallet. And it's like, all right, I can see being nitpicky. You're in a hurry. Yeah, step over it. Be graceful. But with this DuPont safety, with all the other sales, they talk about where things are supposed to be, like empty pallets over here, there, trip hazards. But then they go way past it. I have to show you a photo here later. But like some of them, it's like, there ain't no path to that. Like you got like 4 bins stacked over here.
Sounds
all
like
these parts stacked over there.
Kind of like a factory layout specific thing.
Well, yeah, it is at a factory. Well,
I'm talking about the DuPont wave we were talking about. It sounds kind of like
that too, probably
like a pathway plan.
That's actually not part of this. This is more of my curiosity because I've been in arguments with people about. They're like, well, you can walk around this way, or you can push that over and get to it, and it's like. If it was an emergency, I shouldn't have any obstruction getting to there. Because we used to get rolled up in our area because there would be a mop bucket in front of the electrical panel. And it's like...
We had to deal with all that means of egress at the Dogwood when they had to install that door and keep all the inspection people happy.
Which, safety is a big...
That's where everything gets stacked, though.
I will say...
Did you notice that? Does that drive you crazy?
What's that?
At Dogwood, everything gets stacked at the door we're supposed to use for an exit. It specifically was installed because it swings out and the other one swings in, and all the exit signs point to that door, and that's where everything goes.
Well, I guess that's the same thing. I guess I thought about it like that with like that speaker sitting there.
Don't worry, we fixed it, Inspector.
But, like that speaker there, I was thinking like, well, you just kick that shit out the way.
Boom.
Just kick it over.
That's the same argument those guys are giving you.
I know. I thought about it now, which that's actually what I was about to ask. So you said you worked construction that whole time and then you minored in the safety OSHA. I can say from my personal experience, I had to take that 6-week class in the DuPont safety stuff. I never worked a true construction job, but next door,
I can tell.
We were... Bruh.
Soft hands.
Stop. We'll get back to that, but I've worked on my own house. Helped my dad work on his. He worked construction. I kind of just learned it secondhand, as well as the yelling and cursing part. Like, go give me this tool. That ain't the right fucking tool. Go give me the right one. I feel like I got the whole experience at home, one-on-one private training. You know what I'm saying? But So there was all, you've climbed a ladder, and it's like, well, don't go past the top ladder. And it's like, I've stayed on the very top, tippy top of it, balancing, doing stuff. I've had my foot from this table to that table.
I can go into so many safety pet peeves.
But I will say, doing the punt safety stop learning class, I will have to say that did open my eyes a lot with it was the factory setting. On kind of how, you don't have to do that. Like, don't balance in between machines or climb up it like a monkey. It's like this is just your hourly job. Like, if you get hurt, your quality of life's going to go downhill. And I was wondering if, since you minored in safety, OSHA, did you have like that type of shift in your brain on how you viewed the world? Like, I've started looking at way more stuff safety wise.
Yeah, so you have a certain mindset or vision when you're working construction, but then I was doing the safety stuff while I was still working at the same time, so I would see both sides of it. And I didn't do safety like after working construction, but we would see. Well, I guess I was kind of fortunate, but in our safety class, the guy that what's it called, the expert over the department, I guess, whatever his name is, or like the official titles are. I don't know.
Our place we had terms like value stream managers at one point.
I don't know. Whatever the expert was over the safety program, he.
You're talking about at college?
Yeah, at college.
The deans.
Are they deans? Because you have the president of the school, and then you have the dean. I guess he was a dean. Yeah. I don't know, but he was he was like a local area expert for farm accidents, and so he'd always get forced to go to court and give his expert opinion on all these different accidents. So he would bring all these cases to like school with us. And so when you're doing the safety program, they're always showing you pictures and things of accidents anyway. And so you get that scared, you get that burned into your brain. And then he would always show farm accident stuff, which didn't apply to anything that I was doing. But I was like, man, the farm stuff is terrible. And
horrible. I've heard war stories.
And then
war stories.
And then you get the contradiction that if you're a family or whatever, OSHA and all that doesn't apply. And then if you're a small business with 5 or less employees, OSHA doesn't apply. And so there's nothing you can do about it either to enforce it. If you're a business, the OSHA can come and they can fine and they can write tickets for if you're not doing stuff. But that's only after a certain amount of employees do you go into that program. So if you are a farmer, you can have all your kids running equipment and there's no age laws and there's nothing like that. But if you got sent to work at Walmart, you can only work so many hours until you're a certain age, and then there's all these rules they have to abide by, but it doesn't apply to a farm setting.
Right.
And then Win Dixie, for example, that YouTuber guy, you know him? He like buys trucks and tears them up and
Whistling Dixie.
Whatever. Whistling Dixie.
Oh my God.
I know, but
Whistling Diesel, bro. Get your focus.
He did a big thing not too long ago because that high school kid drove his tractor to school. And they took his tractor, the police did, and like tried to arrest him or whatever. And so they all got together and all rode their. But the same thing is that the laws don't apply to him because he's a farmer and they can go down the road or whatever. But they try to apply the 16 and older needed driver's license to that, and so it became a whole ordeal. And then the police ended up dropping the charges and apologizing, whatever. It's like no. They need to acknowledge this, worldwide, and like kind of got together to help the farmers and stuff. But that was the whole the move for that.
Interesting.
That was the argument, was the age discrimination type thing. I knew I could picture his dumb little face and tearing up those squatted trucks, which is dumb too.
Which I gotta say, I'm a fan. I love those.
I think he's funny, but
oh man,
and he's always just tearing up stuff.
Awesome.
So we went all over the place with the safety thing, but
we're right at 1 hour, which I had like 2 more. Well, really, I guess they could be short. Which I have one for plans of the future. Yeah, maybe a little teaser for the next episode. I
want you to say it, so then you have to do it.
Oh, about challenges.
Oh, the challenges. Go ahead.
The challenges and I like plans for the future. Like we've mentioned, doing challenges, or I don't know, shooting a bow, swinging a golf club.
We're gonna record John dropping in on a half pipe.
I was actually about to bring up just doing a kickflip, dropping it. I want to see you drop.
We'll get you some pads.
Tell you what, I'm gonna watch you drop in first, and then I'll judge. If
I only got one knee, brother.
That'll be a short video, whether or not you even crash it or not. I'm just gonna be like, you know what, you win. I'm not even doing that. But no, I was gonna bring up just like doing a kickflip or something.
Man,
I can't even ollie.
We'll have to
Let
get
alone drop in on a half pipe. You know, I did try that.
we'll have to get Sam to coach us.
Right. Well,
Little Sam. Have you seen his skateboard part?
Yeah, you've shown me.
They did like a skate video last year. It was pretty cool. Maybe it's 2 years ago now. Around like
Now, the other
Dyersburg.
thing, like challenge, I was going to set something up for this episode, but I was like, well, I don't want to spring it on you. Which I was also taking apart the box, and I was like, everything's fucking wrapped in this damn box, too. I was like, I ain't got time for that. But you know how to play chess?
No.
Perfect.
Sai was beating me up at their house, and then everyone was saying that he was cheating and making up moves. I was like, I don't know anything about that.
I was thinking about using that GoPro and just having it right here, and we just make a match.
I even watched that chess guru on Joe Rogan, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's cool. I know about
What's
chess.
his name? Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, he has a really weird name. I was going to say like Magnum PI, and that would have been close.
I don't know if he's Swedish or... No, he's
something.
He's not...
Egyptian or something.
European, but I mean, he's... not Swedish or Norwegian.
I bet his whole family's just weird. He just seems like an odd guy.
Because he showed some rap music on there too, and I was like, I'm gonna have to check out that rap artist.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty.
Yeah,
fun.
but I watched that whole podcast episode, and I was like, I know nothing about chess, but it was cool.
I've always kind of known about it my whole life. I just never took it seriously or learning. I just learned how to move.
If I'm gonna get on,
and that's it.
If I'm gonna get on the computer or whatever and play a game, I'm not gonna play chess.
Well, did you ever experience dial-up as a kid?
Yeah.
Well, what'd you play then?
Not chess. What other game choices were there? Minesweeper for sure.
Solitaire.
I played a lot of solitaire.
Well, did you not get bored with solitaire?
Not enough to play chess, apparently.
Oh my god! I even learned how to play. Oh, what was that one? Where it's like the four people playing each other with the multiple cards.
Something rum?
No, Jim Rummy.
I
learned that in person. Now this one was like the different suits. Actually, like everybody threw a card in at once, and then you either just won. I don't know how you truly played the game, but I remember I got good enough to figure out the patterns on how to win. And that was
You're a card counter. We could go to the casino.
Not counting. I said learn the patterns.
That sounds like card counting. You want to go to the casino?
I've never been to one. I'd love to.
So wherever the tournament up is in St. Louis, I think it's near St. Charles that they go to. There's a casino there, and we would go to concerts in the casino, and so we would kill time in the casino waiting for the concert venue to open.
I will say,
and I hated it. I mean, we would do it like jokingly and put $1 in the slots and do penny slots, and sometimes it'd be 30 cents. I was like, what the hell? And sometimes it was a penny. It would do multipliers and all this stuff, and I never understood what was going on. But I was just pissing money away. But we would watch people. There would be old people that probably were there 8, 10, 12 hours with a string tied to the slot, just using their wrist to just keep going. And they just have no life in their eyes at all and just chain smoking. I'm like, that doesn't even seem fun to me.
Just hitting that dopamine.
I always thought casinos were boring. But let's say me and you were watching the UFC fight or something. I'm all about, hey, you want to bet $20 on this fight? Or if it's like a sports event, then you're invested in, or $20 for Super Bowl, who's going to win? Or if you did like fantasy football, that is fun to me. But all that where you have a reason to watch the games is fun.
2023 fantasy.
But just sitting there pushing a button on slots does not interest me at all. And I would do maybe 21. Like that would be okay. Or a poker tournament. But I don't know. That's a lot of time investments. You can't just pick it up and go.
Thought I'd show it off. A big fancy ring.
Are you well, this can segue into something. Are you playing any games right now?
I don't think I've turned my console on in like 3 weeks.
What were you playing?
That Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come?
2.
I thought you mentioned something about Assassin's Creed. I didn't know if you were on the new one.
I've never really been on the hype of those.
You're not into it?
I played Odyssey. Loved it. Valhalla came out. Downloaded it. I did not like it.
Does Callie play anything or not anymore?
I would say not anymore. She was more of the... So, I mean, I guess we can touch on that. Like, when me and her met, she was the gamer.
Well, I knew she gamed, but I didn't know if she still games a lot or if she
Not really a lot, no. I'm really the one that games now. She'll play when she does. Like, she loves The Last of Us, so she's playing the second one.
Okay.
Since it came back out on the PS5.
You guys watch the shows with it too, or no?
She does. I'll watch it if it's on.
I've heard it's good. I've never played the games or watched the shows.
I'll say season 1 was pretty good.
So I knew the next season just came out.
Because I've watched her play some, Me and her are different.
I've watched interviews of people from that show, and they're talking about the little monster things on there, the clickers or whatever. And I was like, I've never played the game.
All the names are weird.
I know about the zombies and the monsters, but I've never played the game or watched the show.
So when the PS4 came out is when I bought the PS3, and one of the free games was the first Last of Us.
And did you play that?
I turned it on. I started playing it. I was like, I don't know what this is. Okay, whatever. I never kept up with like gaming news either.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll try it. I wanted Batman.
That's kind of probably the best way, honestly. Then
I just wanted the Arkham game because Arkham Origins for it. I was like, well, I'll try this. All right, playing it, doing the whole beginning part, and then the daughter dies. They got shot, and I
know about it.
I was like, I'm not playing this. I immediately turned it off. I was like, oh, like I was traumatized for like a week.
Did you play the first Red Dead Redemption?
That was during the PS2 days, and no.
Oh.
I played Red Dead 2.
You play as the main character, and then he dies, and you think it's over, and then it starts as you're the son, and you start again as a cowboy.
This may not surprise you after just telling you that, but I played Red Dead 2. I hadn't played the first one, but playing 2 when Arthur died, I didn't turn that game on for a month. I did not finish it for a month.
That's funny, but
because John Marston, John Marston plays him at that point. I'm like, you expect me to keep playing after that? Like,
well, aren't those storylines good that you get invested like that?
Mm-hmm. Like, I love it and I hate it. Like, I hate that I loved it so much like that.
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you? Especially, like, it gives
people
you
that don't play games, they don't even know what you're talking about or that connection you get.
Honestly,
my parents probably think they're like, oh, you're just playing some brain dead thing.
As a person that's also gotten back into books, I like to compare it to that. Like if you're the person that really gets into like fantasy books or like those worlds of those stories, it's like, damn, that was a really good story in that book. That's the same thing as like one of those solo games like Red Dead 2 or Last of Us, or which I really like the Odyssey storyline too, but the Arkham City games, Arkham Knight games, like I love them. That's what got me back into gaming.
I remember having to like YouTube. I get stuck on some of those Batman games trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
Shit, I loved every one of them.
Throw this boomerang over here and hit the switch. I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
That was part of the fun, figuring out the Riddler challenges.
Well, I was never into the games that much. So the one I played, I didn't even know that it was choices. It's like you would have known if you played the other ones. Everyone was saying,
like, oh. Which even then, like I really wasn't on YouTube that much watching stuff. So it was, I experienced those two without it. But the funny thing I was going to say about with the gaming, like it's kind of funny that I'm so much into it now and she's not as much. I miss that whole era of like the Call of Duty, like in high school with all your friends talking shit, all the bad words you're not supposed to be saying, like the online gaming with all your friends. I missed that in the 2000s completely. I was fully focused on basketball and sports.
You're doing sports, and then you were fishing and doing outside stuff. So you're busy.
And if I had any of that free time where I could just sit at the house, now I did play my PS2 during that time. It's just we had dial up. I wasn't playing anything online, so it was mostly like story games, single player.
I got you.
All the Call of Duty games, like I still remember getting World at War. I didn't even know that was an online option. I played the mission so many times, the campaign, and I was just like, yeah, this is just like Medal of Honor. Like, I don't know. And then I learned later, that's
honestly, that's how I keep up with a lot of my buddies from college and some guys from high school is through online gaming. It's like, hey, you guys gonna get the new Call of Duty? And some people, some people no.
And I love the connection that it makes like that too.
Especially guys, it's like we don't call each other. Like,
no.
Women kind of do. I don't even know if people talk on the phone that much anymore in general, but
I do.
Guys aren't going to call each other up and talk for an hour on the phone.
Hey. I will say, like with us, with our group chats, I do notice Callie does that with some of her friends. That's how they chat with each other, or you're just sending memes to each other. That's how we're staying.
A lot of just memes.
Sending memes back and forth.
Yeah, I get on there and I'll play with other guys that are having kids and stuff now, and it's like we have small windows and everyone's new schedules where we can play like, oh, blah blah's awake, or oh, gotta get the daughter down. Because
I do know what you're talking about. Back then, like my mom, she had all her friends that she called and talked to on the home line. Like, you can see that on that wall where that home line used to be. My dad was a truck driver. They talked to each other all the time on the cell phones. Because, you just drive in 13 hours.
I mean, if you go through my call list right now, it's all going to be under a minute, unless a rare situation.
The wife, mom, dad.
But we'll FaceTime. We FaceTime
work.
a lot more now because we have kids and they all want to see the kids, and so that brought calling and longer phone calls back. But before that, it's like we weren't talking on the phone long.
Yeah. It's like, well, why are you calling me? Just text me.
So we do a lot more FaceTiming now because everyone lives in different states, which you live kind of close to some of your family. So that
literally right next door.
Yeah, you don't need to do all that.
I mean, the grandmother's
But,
just down
you know,
the street that way.
If I call my mom, she'll want to talk for a while. If I call my dad, it'll be short because he's a guy and neither one of us like to talk on the phone. He's like, everything good? Yep. All right. Sounds good. So gaming, it's kind of, that's how I keep up with a lot of the guy friends that are in other states. But
I agree. Yeah.
So I mean, that's
same way with that.
But yeah.
But don't know chess.
Yeah, I do not know chess.
I guess the other
Cy was taking advantage of me, and I didn't even know. And Riss or somebody was like, "You're not allowed to do that," and I was like, "I didn't even."
That's
know.
what I do remember that night.
Yeah, he was cheating
because I had just beat him before that, and I'm like, "Hey, you still got some learning to do, buddy."
Yeah, he like played next. I was like, all
Which
right.
he's getting pretty good there for a minute. But I guess the second point, why we got all the way through that topic with plans for the future
For the podcast or what? Okay.
Segue into video games. Like we're gonna do a podcast episode.
Do you still play D&D, or did your group stop?
Well, we had a team member die in real life.
I'm glad you clarified that. I was like, you guys can't re-roll.
At first, when we were telling people that, it was like, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, resurrection spell. Come on.
With D&D, yeah, your characters do die. You just make new ones. But no,
it's funny, but not funny. Sorry.
But no, you're fine. You're fine. That was 2 years ago. Like,
and that kind of ruined it all.
I mean, we were really starting to get close as like a friends group, and it was losing when you're close.
Did you guys all know each other beforehand, or was it like friends of some friends and kind of acquaintances?
Co-workers that became friends.
Because I know we
all met at work. So let me put it to you this way. Only one person in our group knew how to play D&D.
So was he like the dungeon master or whatever?
The other three of us, we just thought it'd be cool. It was like, oh, well, show us how to do it. So we didn't really probably play by the actual rules.
Yeah.
Of like where you actually have to like, all right, throw this many die with the 3s and the 4s and this. It's like we were just throwing the 20 every now and then. There's like, he did get fed up with us quite a bit. But it was like, you know what?
You have some creative freedom. Just go with it.
And that's the whole point of a tabletop RPG is what they're called. Yeah. Because it's not just D&D. There's like one or two others. When
I moved to St. Louis, I remember I went to a gaming store, and I thought I was going to get a new Call of Duty or something.
Yeah.
And I walked in there, and it was all really weird people. Store. Yeah. And, well, I mean, they were cool. Just, they're kind of introverts.
Look,
and I was like, this is not the same thing at all.
But
they had a huge table set up, and it was I don't know if it's Warhammer or what it is, but it's all the figurines, and they're painting stuff, and they have little trees and this whole setup.
More than likely Warhammer 40K, but there are others as well.
It might have been that's
definitely the most popular.
What Britt and Craig are talking about sometimes. I don't know what that is.
Which I didn't keep up.
Britt is always posting some figurine stuff on Facebook, and I'm always like it, but I don't know what it is. I don't think it's Warhammer. It's something like that, though. But anyway, I was just like, I sent you that clip recently of those guys playing D&D, and it was super rated R, and I was laughing about it, and I was like, it would be fun.
I'll have to rewatch that.
Remember he was talking about how the guy had the key, and he's like, well, I want the key. He's like, what are you going to do for that key?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
and so they were rolling, and oh, man.
There was a lot of moments in our campaigns like that, too.
And then you have that clip of, what's the actor and actress were doing that podcast together, and she went and like put him through a scenario of D&D, and he was getting all into it. The guy from The Walking Dead.
Well, that and see if you had said that because he's from The Walking Dead, and he's also the Punisher. On Netflix.
And he doesn't even do his podcast anymore. He just did that during COVID. I guess he's done with it, which we just liked it.
Did you watch him on Joe Rogan?
John something. Is his name John?
Burhall. Starts with a B. I don't know.
Yeah.
John B. But yeah, the way she talked about it, that's honestly how you would play.
I was like, oh, well, that looks less nerdy than how I imagined.
Honestly, you think of it as like Skyrim. It's that world, medieval, but with dragons.
Honestly, never thought about it until I watched... I
recommend you a show to watch.
Well, it wasn't The Walking Dead, but it was one of those kids. Those kids fighting little monsters. It's super big on Netflix. Stranger Things. They play it on Stranger Things. I was like, oh, that's D&D?
Well, that's how Austin Little and their friends got into it.
Well, as
like they meet every Sunday because of that show, and they're like, "Man, we want to play it." And that's kind of what
you brought it back to my thing is if you'd want to do another one. I don't know how I have time for any more hobbies.
Let me put it this way to relate it to you.
It'd be cool to try it once.
It depends on who you're with. Honestly, because that's really what it depends on. It's like
you need some fun people to put it together.
Yeah. Honestly, if you have a good friends group that really does real good banters back and forth and you're creative, you could do that.
Chris Hamlin would always talk about it too, and I was like, "You're a big ass place."
Damn, I didn't know he.
And he
I
said,
didn't know he liked.
And he said that he was just the disruptor. He was always trying to do stuff, and they're like, "No, I can't do that." And he was like always trying to make stuff up.
See,
like, why can't I do that?
My character was a monk, but in the new 5D D&D stuff, like rule set now, monks are fucking OP.
So you
like they're so good.
I thought you just buy a book and it just puts you through like a campaign, and it just gives you options.
Yes. Like, you can either buy a book for a campaign, you can completely make up your own campaign. Well, some people have more time.
I'm sure Reddit has a bunch of them.
Look on me. And most people do that. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Once you've played all of them, it's like, well, what do I do now? Well, make your own. But either there are whole companies that have made a living and bukus of money by writing their own campaigns and putting it out there.
You know who would be funny to have in our group? Oh my god. Derek.
That would be great.
I wonder if Derek would even know what's going on.
Get
Derek a couple beers and just let him fully go into it.
Just a decision. I'd love it to see him getting serious.
That's what I'm saying.
He would honestly, Derek's personality type.
Shoot it in the head.
I think Derek's personality type, he would be the dungeon master
because
he's such an oriented, detailed person, diving into stuff. That's what your dungeon master has to be. All the scenarios, all the reactions.
I don't know. See, Derek could be that guy, or then he could be the polar opposite, where he's like, "I'm not doing any work. I'm only here to have fun."
Yes.
So it depends on how deep you want to get into it.
Well, I mean, the dungeon master can have fun too. Besides,
no.
Because calm down. All right. Either who, back. Well,
so I don't know if we're gonna do that, but I was thinking about that.
What I was going to say about my character that I'd made,
the
monk, like they're OP in this revision of D&D now. But the way I made it even, mine's a pacifist. Like, he doesn't like.
You've told me this because I remember what's that movie about the pacifist? I hated it. The guy that wouldn't shoot his gun and he just carried everyone and saved them.
Oh. Hacksaw Ridge?
I hated Hacksaw Ridge with a passion.
Hacksaw Ridge, yeah.
I hated it.
I like the boot camp part, but I think a lot of military movies,
crazy.
I love
It drove me
camps.
crazy. They would always talk about how many lives he saved, this and that. That's great. I was like, if you would have shot one of those people, it would have been the butterfly effect, and maybe they wouldn't shot 15 of your friends. It drives me crazy.
Carl.
But I know it's based off real life, but I hate it.
Calm down.
I hate that dang story.
Jeez, man.
So
mine was more disrupting as a character. It's like, no, guys, let's not fight.
Like the drunk monk, Jackie Chan.
He actually wasn't out. That's how I kind of based it. Now, don't get me wrong. I've started a few fights too, because it's like, it's your dungeon master. It's all about causing problems and reacting to things and making the story more interesting. So he's done that too, where he's like poked my buttons and he knows how to press my buttons, and it's like, you know what, fuck this guy.
Did you ever played Skyrim?
Love Skyrim. I never finished it, but
they just remastered Oblivion. I thought about you when it came out.
I want to play it. I never played the original. Callie played the original when it came out. It
was like 2013 or something. No, 2008.
Because Skyrim came out in 2011.
Oh, 2008. Never mind. I knew they did a remaster, but I thought for some reason it was like the 20th year anniversary. But that doesn't add up. I played it a long time ago, but I didn't ever even get close to beating it. That seems like your guys' realm.
Well, I literally like the dragons is what kind of gravitated towards Skyrim myself. But I mean,
you make some dragon scale armor.
Yep. I mean, I like the Daedric armor myself, like most people.
So we uploaded the podcast episode 2 today.
You're not allergic to cats, are you?
I don't know. Well, no, but sometimes, yeah, lately. Awesome, thank you.
Well, if that turns red, you're allergic.
Well, if I because we had a cat for a while, it's over with the in-laws now, and now whenever I pet them and rub my eyes always get itchy, but I don't break out anything. Just if I pet them a whole lot, it seems to be my eyes get itchy. But I don't know. It could be they have 2 dogs too. They have all kinds of stuff over there. Different allergens.
Hey, you're allergic to cats. Just so you know.
Well, I mean,
you're just less.
I don't like get hives or anything.
Well, I mean,
but
my oldest niece is allergic because she loves them. She'll pet all over them, and then she'll start sniffling and like.
I feel like just my eyes itch.
Well, because you touched them and you rubbed your eyes.
Well, we uploaded episode 2 today. I threw up Matt's side 2 today. I don't know if when it's going to go live, but it's uploaded. And then I'm going to upload all the finishes from Black Cat so we can clean out our drive folder.
Which I still got so much footage.
That's why I took all your B-roll out. I mean, Matt's side, I was like, I'm going to empty out this folder.
Mm.
That's another thing, too, of these file sizes. Can't upload them. They're too big.
Yeah, I know we're over an hour right now.
But especially with
Almost
the 4K, it was 40-something gigs last time. That caused all kinds of issues uploading it to YouTube, to the computer.
Oh, my goodness.
So we couldn't put it on the share drive, so I can't edit it. Really, only you can have the file size. And then if you're going to play with the GoPro and try to do 2 footages together and cut and edit, it might turn into a real pain.
Hey, bud. I don't know if this thing died or not.
Well, you said an hour. It could have filled up.
Oh, it did?
Or it just went to a screensaver type thing.
This is 28. Read that. He's the GoPro expert. This is my first one.
It says it's 28
minutes left.
Or
which it says 18% battery. So we got some pup.
We're playing with stuff. This is a trial by error. But
I don't know why it turned off on its own though. Now I'm turning it off.
I don't know. That's all we got going on.
Well, like I said, B-roll footage.
Today's the 28th.
My watch died yesterday too.
You know what's funny is that G-Shock here. This is my second one.
Oh, so that's actually like a real fancy.
No, it's just a G-Shock. It's supposed to be like durable or whatever. It's probably like $100 or something. But I had one and I beat the hell out of it and it survived. And then the wife went to make the bed and like flipped the comforter and it went flying off, landed and died. And I was like, how the hell did that kill that when I've literally smashed it with dumbbells and did all kinds of stuff?
Well, you've seen my watches like that, right?
So I bought the exact same one again on like eBay because it's an old model or something. I was like, no, I don't want a new one. I want the one I had. And the other one had paint on it and all kinds of stuff just from using it. And so I like G-Shock because I just beat the hell out of them and I don't care. They're like $100.
Like, I've been through 3 Walmart
I've had some Seiko.
That's why I was asking, because I've had like 3 that look just like that. They're the $20 Walmarts.
Well, there you go.
And like I said, and every one of them has died because of the battery. And I'm like,
I've replaced the battery in the last one, and I had it until she flipped it off the bed and it broke. And I was like, how did that work?
Wives.
But yeah, I've replaced the battery and I've smashed it and it's been underwater and it's been painted on and everything. And I don't even think about it. I was like, if it breaks, it breaks. But I was surprised that's what broke it.
I've thought about buying like a little more expensive one like that.
I would
like them so much.
I mean, get one off eBay or whatever.
G-Shock.
You just don't even feel bad about it. Whatever happens, happens.
Well, I don't know. You got me buying so much stuff now.
But I use it for the date mostly, and then the time isn't a big deal. But I always use it for dating stuff. I'm like, 428, all right.
Well, that's why I use
mine. And the day of the week. That's what keeps me straight.
Because, it's always awkward at work because I've never been more, especially before I got more closer to supervision, where it's more of like the hourly.
Everyone pulls their phone
I'm still, well, on a factory floor, it's actually very frowned upon. So it's like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. And it's like, the rule says you're not supposed to have that. I'm like, oh, my bad. Where it's you got your real sticklers about it.
Well,
sticklers.
I feel like that's such a old cultural norm to always be on your phone, because now my work phone, I have to be on it all the time because they're sending emails and they're doing stuff, and I have Teams, I have all these apps.
What is now for us?
But I'm saying people are like, why are you always on your phone? It's like, I'm actually working, but it's on my work phone.
I will say this was about 7 years ago when I started making that decision to really keep my watch on me. Yeah. And it was easier just being like this. Because like I said, you get those sticklers at work that's like, you're not supposed to have that out. And it's like, it ain't that big of a deal, bro.
You kind of have to.
But then it's easier just like, I don't even want to deal with y'all. But it is easier just to do this. And
I think I catch myself being on my phone more because work reinforces it. Like during the work day, I'm checking it constantly.
Ask me last time I checked my email.
I don't even want to know the answer. It's going to make me upset.
Take a guess. Take a guess.
Months.
How many?
3.
Probably 2.
I probably check mine $100 times a day.
The only ones I
always hit refresh too. Like refresh.
I don't think I don't respond to a single one either.
Ridiculous.
I've only used my email on my phone once to contact my bank, and honestly, I found out that transaction was something we actually used. 'Cause I was like reporting one, I was like, oh my bad, never mind, that was us. That was my own dumb purchase.
So what do you got coming up? Do you have any more? Do we hit all the stuff on your sheet?
Well, you kind of said it. The schedule of the podcast, the frequency. I don't know if we're actually going to do every Monday. You're talking about something at work coming up where you might not be able to.
Yeah, it
for a
just
little
depends.
bit.
It just depends on where my projects are. Right now, it's in Kentucky, and it's like towards the end. Well, we're waiting on parts, and then it'll get going again. And then I got one coming up in Cairo, Illinois, and that's 2 hours each way. So that's gonna be longer days. But I mean, I can kind of steer. I can see how I can schedule it, and maybe I'll just be Mondays or a shorter day.
Yeah,
But I specifically haven't been talking to Callie about any of this stuff because I knew she didn't want us to be doing it here, so I haven't brought it up at all.
Well, 'cause,
I've been waiting for her to kick us out.
because she gets off at 4, she goes to work out, and it's like, she want to come home and take a shower and just like relax for the night. It's like, I don't want people in the house while I'm trying to relax.
We'll play it by ear. Play it by ear, however that expression goes. If she starts kicking us out, we've talked about getting that room set up. I don't know, perhaps maybe. I'd like to get a freaking pole barn or something. I don't know anybody with the space that would lend it to me.
The only person I knew, you said Brad sold his.
Yeah, I was thinking if we could find
sad.
a cool place and set it up, but I'd like to get a more permanent place set up. We've talked about different microphones.
Which
and
I've thought about
cameras.
outside too, just setting up at random spots.
Yeah, we've still talked about doing that.
That was
and
one of my favorite episodes of Derek's.
Now,
They
we
went
got
to
we got the GoPro. We got some different car mounts. I would like to maybe like hit up Travis or somebody that has different car stuff. And I don't know if he's off roading, but he's got his Bronco project that he's playing with. I was like, let's do an episode
Frankenstein
and the Frankenstein and check it out. Be like, give us it could be a small episode. Interview Travis and give us a tour of his spaceship.
It can be like road trips, like just going to go visit people.
Yeah.
Like, show us what you're doing, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
if we could, we got your car and go check out different places. My truck is super hot. I would prefer not to, but we could.
You still ain't got the AC
Nope.
fixed? We just fixed our AC on ours not too long ago.
It's probably on my 8th one. It just always melts that whatever it is.
The wire?
It just always does. I don't
Let
know.
me know. I'll take a look at. We literally fixed.
I don't
ours
even care
on
that much.
bro.
I just sweat in there.
Just
I'm
let me tangle it. I see you sweat over there.
Yeah, I got a black hat shirt on this time. Last time I wore a fox catcher. I see you wearing a dogwood. I'm gonna use this
I was
opportunity.
about to put my Foxcatcher shirt on, and I was like, "You wore that last week."
Well, I'm using this opportunity to wear all the shirts that I never wear. I have a stack of dogwood shirts I never wear, and then I have a stack of inappropriate shirts I'm not allowed to wear in public. So this will be my opportunity.
Maybe the next episode will be an inappropriate shirt.
I have lots of
2.
Pixlops ones that I never wear,
I got 2 of them.
and then
One you gave to me.
I like that one. That one's not even inappropriate from the front.
Yeah, not from front.
And then
My other one you can't really tell
yeah.
from a distance, but I do like wearing it every now and then.
So we'll have more. Well, I'm going to upload all the finishes from the fight. So we'll have some more reels. So we're working on some more content. I'm working on a rash guard, which I haven't heard back yet from, but going to do like a dogwood one for whoever's interested.
Did you send it to Coach John?
No, I'm just what my plan is I'm going to put it on Facebook. And be like, this is what I'm getting. If anybody wants one, this is your chance to sign up or say something. Because when I did the last one, everyone was mad. I was like, I didn't involve anything. I just did it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me. I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to tell anybody. I was like, I just did it because I wanted one, and then that was it. But I want to do a Dishonor roll one eventually. And so I got some different plans for that. I'm working on another logo in my head. I haven't put it out there yet.
For Dishonor roll?
Yeah, just because I get bored. I don't know if we'll use it or not.
You see this communication?
Well, I've told you about it.
Tells me live instead.
I've told you about it, but I haven't told them about it, so I didn't bring it up more. But yeah, I don't know. I just get more logos all the time, and then yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Definitely need some stickers. Maybe a patch.
Yeah, maybe some stickers or patches. I haven't done anything with my Pixlop stuff. I've been slacking real hard. Just too many projects going on at the same time. But we had Easter. We had the son's baptism, so we were busy with that. We have the daughter's birthday coming up in a couple weeks, and then we have the son's first birthday in a couple weeks after that. And we have Memorial Day or Labor Day. Which one's first? One of those is coming up.
Labor Day is at the end of the year.
I can never keep those two straight.
Memorial Day is towards the end of the year because you're not supposed to wear white after Memorial Day.
So which one's coming up then?
Labor Day.
Labor?
Nope.
One of them's coming up, and so we're doing stuff
Memorial
for that.
Day first, Labor Day's at the end.
But we were talking about how we might go to, I don't know if we're going to go to the Memphis Zoo or an aquarium or something. I was like, you know what? I'm going to invite John and Callie because I think it's funny. And then I was like, I bet they actually would want to go. But you don't have to.
We actually did have like an annual pass to the Memphis Zoo.
I love the zoo. I don't know.
I mean, we've probably been to that one like 8 or 9 times within a few years because we had a friend that worked there, so we actually got to go. Which I think we weren't supposed to tell nobody then, but I guess the years back he don't work there no more. But I actually got to go backstage and feed the baby giraffe.
That'd be sick.
That was. Special privileges, man. You know somebody. You get to sneak behind some of the doors. Which I got to see the North American section with the elk and the wolves. Like
That'd be cool.
Like I love that.
So the town I'm from is called Battleground back in Indiana. And they have a wolf sanctuary there that I didn't know was a big deal because I grew up next to it and none of us cared. But people would travel to come see these wolves, this wolf sanctuary. But they would release critters and you could watch. Somehow they'd have these big areas and they would watch the wolves like hunt and stalk in groups. And people would come from afar and like donate wolves, and it was a big deal. But I never knew it was a big deal.
That's pretty cool. Well, kind of to add to that, like I have that same experience. Well, we're located right now. I don't know if you know this, the Bluff Road that's just right there. Those are $1 million banks.
$1 million banks? What do you mean?
Duck hunting areas.
Oh, I can see that.
Like doctors and lawyers, they own a lot of that shit.
I can see that.
Just down the few miles of right there, because it's all like right next to TWRA type land. All those woods, that big swamp area, and it's like all of it's like private. Driving down, it's like some shitty ass little back road. Like I've grown up here my whole life, and I didn't really know that until like a few years ago.
You don't freaking network and get us some ends over there, buddy. Your neighbors. Ask your neighbors.
You didn't mention this part. I guess I mentioned. Were you part of a fraternity?
Yeah.
Sound like it.
What? Network? Go over there, network, buddy.
Well, that's a big word, but other habits too.
I don't use anything from the fraternity.
Well, I was just curious. Well, I mean, your habitual nature. I was friends with a few fraternity members.
The only ones I talk to are the ones that would probably play games. If there's a couple of them, that's it.
You don't keep up with your brothers?
No.
God. Well, which fraternity was it? ATO?
Yeah, it was ATO.
Yeah, your wife told me. You didn't tell me.
She told you.
She told me. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I forgot which one you were part of.
I tried to remember. She was ASA.
ASA. Alpha.
Alpha Sigma Alpha.
Sigma Alpha.
They were ladybugs.
Ladybugs.
Which is funny because my daughter's currently terrified of all bugs.
Are you allowed to say the secret meaning behind what ATO means or something? I thought I read that somewhere. Like each one has its name. It's there for a specific reason.
You're trying to do some Da Vinci Code on me. I don't
That's
know
what it is. Reverse. I don't know. Content, baby. Well,
no,
that's most of the topics.
No, my school was. We had Greek, but it wasn't like Harvard Greek or something crazy. It was most of the guys were hunters, and it was all pretty chill, laid back.
Seems about right.
But yeah, that's all I got going on. We'll get some new.
I think we touched on.
Get some new reels going, some new Instagram stuff. We started a Facebook page that, not really advertising, but maybe it'll grow. We'll see.
Which I feel like you and your networking, I kind of let things grow more naturally. You're trying to actually like
let's get it all automated, and then it's simple. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Well, schedule that. I feel like that's mostly it. We just need to wrap it up and.
You going to class tonight?
Well, it is at 7.
That's the only reason I'm thinking about it.
You thinking about it? You're not. Well, I'm not going to upload this tonight, so probably not. Well, got it signed off.
Well, you just do your slow fade away outro.
Fade away, fade away. Oh, I need to have a good moment. I don't know. Might have already had that moment. Yeah, I think we already had that moment. Probably.
What do we get to? Like an hour and a half-ish, you think?
I think so.
My ass started getting sweaty.
That's how I ended the last one. Yeah, hour 30.
There you go.